Hi, I'm Bill Sutter. I'm the Chief Financial Officer for the Boulder Valley School District. I'm going to be spending the next few minutes talking about Amendment 73 and the impacts to the Boulder Valley School District. This information was put together by the Colorado Association of School Boards and provided to the Boulder Valley School District to share with the community to inform about facts and information regarding Amendment 73. The origin of Amendment 73 was a diverse and inclusive coalition of education-focused organizations who began meeting in July of 2016 to focus on the Colorado school funding crisis. The goals of this group were to raise additional revenue for education and provide a structural fix to the declining local revenue source of property taxes. Amendment 73 creates the Quality Public Education Fund. This fund would contain the resources generated through this tax increase and is exempt from the Tabor revenue limit. The resources that flow into this Quality Public Education Fund must be used to supplement state general fund resources and not supplant. That means the state cannot take those additional resources and repurpose them to other purposes. The revenue collected through this measure is adjusted each year for inflation up to a cap of 5%. The measure raises $1.6 billion through income tax and corporate tax changes. It is a progressive tax increase where higher income earners pay a larger percent. The increments begin at $150,000. 92% of Colorado taxpayers would not be impacted by this new structure. The goal of this structure is to create tax equity amongst taxpayers. The portion of income paid in state and local taxes currently declines with higher income earners. After the implementation of Amendment 73, tax equity is improved by increasing that percentage on higher income earners. It should be noted that the average salary of a teacher in Colorado is approximately $50,000. That is at that peak percentage paid in this graph. The income tax rate on C corporations will increase by 1.37% to 6%. After this implementation, the total amount of taxes paid by a C Corp is still below the 2017 amount with the adjustment in the federal tax rate. The easiest way to think about it is a interstate or international corporation, so a large business. Amendment 73 addresses the structural problem in the property tax system for education by permanently setting the residential assessment rate, currently the third lowest in the nation. When the Gallagher Amendment was implemented in 1982, the residential and non-residential rate was set at a particular amount, 21% and 29% respectively. As the number and value of residences has increased in the state, that residential assessment rate has dropped from 21% to currently 7.2%. That has put additional pressure on the state to backfill those resources as local dollars are not collected for local school districts. This amendment would fix that residential assessment rate at 7%, while at the same time dropping the non-residential assessment rate from 29% to 24%, providing some tax relief for non-residential property owners, including businesses, ranchers, and farmers. Amendment 73 raises $1.6 billion to address local needs and ensures decisions are made at the local level. This is done by increasing base funding for all students. It does also provide funding for full-day kindergarten and increases revenue for early childhood education. By expanding the definition of at-risk students to count free and reduced lunch students, it benefits students in poverty by providing additional resources. The amendment also significantly increases the amount of funds passing to local districts for special education, English language learners, and gifted and talented students. Additionally, there would be a net outflow of dollars from Boulder County, as Boulder County has an above-average percent of taxpayers earning over $200,000 a year. There would be property tax savings realized on non-residential or business property, although expected resources do exceed resources available from current mill levy override options, and those local options are unlikely to increase by legislative action. There would be additional resources to close the achievement gap, improve student achievement, and expand full-day kindergarten and preschool options. It is a graduated income tax similar to federal taxes. It does increase equity and tax burden. There would be additional resources for all students in the Boulder Valley School District. There is also long-term economic benefit from workforce development and long-term savings from early interventions with students. Arguments for Amendment 73 include the state needing a sustainable source of revenue to adequately and equitably fund public education. The measure provides property tax relief for business property owners, farmers, and ranchers who have paid an increasingly higher proportion of property taxes compared to residential property owners. One of government's most important functions is to provide children with a high-quality education. And stabilizing the local share of required school formula funding and creating a dedicated source of state revenue for education provide additional flexibility for the state to use more of its general operating budget on other core programs such as transportation, public safety, and health care. Arguments against include the measure imposing a tax increase without any guarantee of increased academic achievement. Increasing the state income tax rate could negatively impact the state's economy. Businesses will have less money to invest in their own workers, and individuals will have less money to spend, save, and invest. The measure complicates an already complicated property tax system. By creating one assessed value for school districts and another assessed value for all other local taxing entities, the measure will lead to confusion among taxpayers and further complicate tax administration for state and local governments. The measure does not allow the state legislature to adjust the income tax thresholds to account for inflation. For additional information on Amendment 73, look for the Blue Book that will be arriving in your mailbox soon. We are also placing additional factual information and a link to a tax calculator where you can input your own information to figure out the impacts to you personally. These links and information can be found at the Boulder Valley School District website at www.bvsd.org.